Okay, too?
Yeah, man, you're looking sexy, sounding sexy.
Cool.
So looks good. Looks good to
Awesome.
me. All right,
Let's
well,
go.
we'll get started. We'll let people roll in right now. But welcome to the Joyage Kingdom, everybody. I'm Cage, your guide. I'll be replacing the little voice inside your head for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say thank you first for listening and reviewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. Today we have CoffeeMan Dan, COOLMAN'S Universe founder, artist, beast. Absolutely super excited to have you on, man. Happy July 4th.
Oh, happy July 4th to you too, man. I love I mean, oh my God, that intro. I wouldn't even be able to one up that at all. I'm just gonna say hello. My name's Danny, aka Coolman Coffee Dan. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Well, actually, the first thing I want to get into right now is because I was doing a whole lot of digging yesterday. So I found some of your old videos. And what was interesting to me is that you started in 2012. I feel like you actually have videos older than this, right?
Oh yeah, no, I have videos going back to like 2006,
Oh
2007.
shit. Okay, so you beat me. I was gonna say I thought I beat you. So I have a very similar story to you. I've been making videos for a very long time. This is on my main channel, by the way, for people who are interested. This is on the main channel. I have another channel, and I think the videos go back 11 years. But dude, we've been making videos for a long time. So my first question for you was gonna be, was the art side of this whole, being Coffee Man Dan, was that the plan, or was that just what happened? Because you've been making videos, but you made all sorts of videos. It's very Smosh like in the beginning, like skit styles, and I got the sense that we kind of grew up with a similar childhood potentially, as far as like not quite fitting in, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, so like when I go back to the earliest videos that I was uploading on YouTube, we're talking domino toppling. We're talking me being in fifth, sixth grade in my parents' basement, setting up dominoes, like thousands of dominoes, and then knocking it down. And I amassed 500 subscribers, which back then, back in 2007, is like a
Crushing it.
sizable audience, and that was my thing. And I never let YouTube go. It was always a part of my life, even when I moved on from dominoes to making comedy skits. Then we enter like 2011, 2012 territory with videos like that you just pulled up. That's when I started getting like, up to 40,000, 50,000 subscribers, me and my Justin Bieber hair. And I would get like recognized in my local mall and shit. But like even then, like YouTube wasn't what it is now, and content creator, like culture wasn't what it is now. So I was always that odd kid out creating. And I'm glad it happened that way because, you look at the videos I would make and me acting all goofy on camera and coming up with these crazy stories and me doodling in class. It always just kind of set that precedent that, yeah, I'm fucking weird. I'm creative. Some people hate me for that. Some people love me for that. I enjoy doing it. And I think that just set it early on in my life and teed me up perfectly for, what happened in 2017, which is when I just gave animation a shot. And that's when it, took off and went more viral than ever before in my, 10 years of uploading to YouTube.
Yeah, dude, this video, I think this is the one you're talking about, right? The Snakes Have Legs, the one that just originally took off, that
Yep.
sparked all the interviews. Everyone's trying to figure out who you are. But this was a long ass time ago, bro. This was 2017. Like,
Yeah.
that was, wait, hold on. 2017 for me, that was I'm 20, I'm about to be 24 in like 3 days. So that was, for me, was like sophomore year of college, I think. So you were how old?
I was well, I'm 26 now, so I was probably a sophomore. I was in my first or second year of college around then
Okay.
too.
Right
So
on.
like, that was my first anime. That was one of my first animations ever. Like I had one or two before that were in a completely different style, called Shape Guys, featuring like a triangle and a rectangle. But this was like my first style where I had these blobby, colorful characters, and it was also the first video that I put out there that had like a concise, relatable message. So it was my first time doing any of that, and the fact that it hit to the degree that it did is so wild and unimaginable. Like something that can't be replicated twice. The fact that that shit hit so hard, it's my most viral video to date, hundreds of millions of views, reposted countless times, redubbed in every language around the
Yeah.
world. I mean, that was the, oh my fucking God, like I got my shot, my true opportunity here. I better not fumble the bag. And I'm glad I got that shot.
I mean, that's definitely one of two ways to go. I mean, some people smash it, they get a viral hit, and then they either fall off immediately and they never are heard from again, which is like 90% of people, or there's something actually there and you're able to pull something there. I've actually messed with animation, but this is as far as I ever got. I had a little character that would speak, and dude, massive respect for animation, because I think I went caveman style like you did. I drew one with the open mouth, one with the closed mouth, one with the arm out like this, one with the arm down like this, and that shit took 9 hours, 2 minutes to 9 hours.
Dude, I mean, it's definitely, it's a grind. Like animation is very tough, and the fact that, you know, it's a testament to how much you have to really go into the story, because that first video, Snakes Have Leg, was so baseline simple visually, and like I did not know what the fuck I was doing, and I definitely didn't know how to animate, but the story and the messaging is what resonated with so many people.
Yeah.
And it was just such a valuable lesson, and this is what I try to tell people when they ask me about it. Like, you could be the most technologically like professional filmmaker or music producer, and like just be so synthetic and do everything right and have all the best equipment, but if it doesn't resonate with people, if the message and the story doesn't resonate with people, then people don't care. Like, you know, you could have a perfect produced movie or song, but if nobody cares, nobody cares. And you know, you compare that with something that somebody makes in their closet on a $0 budget, and it, you know, fucking hits, right? So that was a really big lesson for me personally, and that's what I've been trying to spread to others too.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to one of your to one of the interviews or podcasts you were on, and you were kind of talking about how you've been trying to go viral forever. You're just like, I'm trying to make videos, just trying my best out here, and I feel like that's pretty common for a lot of people. I didn't know that. I thought it was literally just me out here struggling, trying to make videos. I was like, no one else is doing these things. But I think that there's a lot of people out here who are trying to do that, and I think it's a pretty common feeling as far as like why are people skipping over me? But I mean, that I don't think it's a coincidence that that video picked up, and that was kind of your intro into it. But I definitely want to talk a little bit, because we have that similar upbringing in that sense, where we're just kind of like grinding for videos. I remember back in like the YouTube days. I'm surprised you had fucking people coming up to you, dude. I had 500. I had the same actually as you. I got to 500, and I was like, whoa, but like no one cared. I was making soccer free kick videos. It wasn't like my voice was being heard. It was just me kicking a soccer ball in the backyard. Wow. But that shit wasn't cool, dude. That shit was not cool. Like people made fun of me.
I don't know, man. It's pretty. It's definitely cooler than domino toppling, bro. You know how dirty that is. But I mean, even when I would get recognized, like it was so few and far between. And honestly, dude, it's not all that it cracks up to be, because every time it would happen, it would be when I was with my mom or my dad, and I would get so embarrassed, like my face would turn red. And you know, even now, like I don't really like getting recognized that much. That's why I'm glad that I hide behind the animations. But you know, you have a very, like, your energy on camera and your persistence. Like you talk about wanting to go viral. It really is just a matter of when it happens. It's not if, because there's folks like you that are very talented, and you put in the hours, and you're charismatic, and you do the fucking thing. You don't have to worry about if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of, like, you know, when the stars align. I just want to put that out real quick.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. What were you like back in the middle school days, maybe? Because I know you were telling me, or not telling me, that you talked about your parents being super chill. They were like, yo, you should fucking maybe try something else when you were in the college time. Like maybe try something else that you're passionate about. That was not my situation. My parents were like, get the fucking degree. Just get the degree. It doesn't even matter. Have that in your arsenal. And my grandparents were actually the ones who were way more chill with me, taking chances and stuff like that. Like what was the middle school time for you? And like, what about like grandparents, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, middle school I was going hard with my YouTube videos. You know, I was just rewatching a few of them a few weeks ago before my big New York event. Anytime I have an event coming up or like a big milestone, I like to zoom out and like look at what I was doing in middle school.
Dan is woke.
It's a nice reminder to like keep it humble, and also stay true to the messaging as to like, yo, why were you doing what you were doing in 8th grade? Like, you weren't doing it for money. You weren't making any, you know, you weren't doing it for views. Like, you didn't really care. So I did it because it was genuinely fun, and that's what I would do. Like every day after school, I would get home and I would go on YouTube and I would try to think and write and plan for my next video. I would make one video a week. I had an upload schedule. I would upload every Saturday.
Oh shit, you had an upload schedule back then?
Oh yeah, no, I was in 8th grade. I remember being on the bus. I'm like, all right, it's Friday. I'm gonna go home,
Whoa, okay.
film, and then I'm gonna. So like my schedule was pretty much like this: like Friday, get home, film as soon as you get home. You know, during like the spring, summer months, like you would have like whatever it was, 3 to 7 p.m. So you have like 4 hours to film before it gets dark out. And the lighting in my house was never great, so you have to use natural light. During the winter months, you only had 2 hours maybe to film. So sometimes it would take multiple days to film one video because I would lose some.
Okay.
And then I would edit Friday night.
What were you editing on?
Final Cut 7 at the time.
Final Cut existed back then? Dude, I was on Windows Movie Maker.
Oh yeah, no, dude. I had
God.
Final Cut Express, which was my shit. And I would edit into Saturday morning and then post Saturday afternoon and then respond to comments all of Saturday night, Sunday. I had no social life. That was my social. And my parents supported it. Sometimes like my dad or mom would get nervous when they would see me be on the computer, like the entire weekend, like just like in my glasses, like shirtless, like skinny, like pasty. Like I genuinely like,
oh shit,
I was getting like so much joy out of that, and like, you know, really learning a lot. Like people weren't doing YouTube back then, as you know, like. So it was just so new and different. And I learned so many lessons with just like workflow and upload schedule and why it's important to engage with your community, why it's important to collab and stay on top of current events and topics. And like, you know, they supported that. Like there was a memory that I always think back to where we're Christmas tree shopping. I'm in 9th, 10th grade and I'm stressing out while we're Christmas tree shopping because I knew that if I didn't finish editing this video and upload it in time for Christmas, it would not hit the same. You know, I would miss the Christmas sort of like moment. And my mom understood that I was stressing out. She drove me home early from Christmas tree shopping,
dude.
so I finished editing. Like really priceless shit. And you know, they were very supportive, but cautiously so. Like they never wanted me to be in a dangerous spot. They always wanted me to go to school, get a job, make sure I had backup plans, backup money. And, you know, grandparents, same deal. Now, I think on the other side of it, after, you know, COOLMAN'S Universe and publishing my book and getting like Forbes 30 under 30, like all those accolades that make, you know, the parents and the grandparents and the family members sort of understand like, oh, I think it's working now. On the other side of that, being where I am now, I think they're very much like, oh, okay, like he's not going to starve. Like, okay, you know, good. But they still, you know, that feeling never really goes away where they don't want you to you know, mess everything up and go broke. And I think that's a good, it's not like a hey, you're not going to make it. It's a hey, we want the best for you, which I can understand from a parent's point of view.
Well, I mean, that's something I feel like I've also learned a little bit as I got older. I feel like during the years I was seeing them a lot, I wasn't able to grasp, obviously, because we're kids, basically. And so you get frustrated. You think, you know, your parents are the only ones, your grandparents are the only ones who worry about these things. You don't need to worry about this. And then as you get older, obviously, you start to learn that all they just give a shit about is loving you and making sure you're okay. But actually, you said something interesting there with the idea that you're going to go hungry or go broke. I feel like that's a feeling that I don't know if everyone has quite felt that. Like there was a period, I don't know if you know, that I lived in my car. I was living in my car for 6 months, traveling the country. But I was like basically broke. I was like running out of money actively as I'm driving. Like as every time I filled up gas, I was actively like losing net worth. That kind of like almost broke.
Wow.
Partially because of crypto. And I remember there was times where I would be in the grocery store and be like, you know, I don't know if I should buy that bread because I don't know if I can. Maybe I should just not eat. And there's days where I like would not buy stuff because I'm like, okay, let me just wait till Friday because I can just get a little bit of money or if I can do something. So that feeling is interesting to me. And I was wondering for you. now that you've got the success, you got some money, you got some fame, you got all the things basically. Is there ever that feeling of like scarcity? Because that was something that's always plagued my whole life. Just like, like this is good, but it's gonna fade. Like I dated a girl and she was so attractive that I was like, this is dope, but this shit is gonna end, and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
squeeze everything I can now.
You and I are very similar, man. You know, I think that is my mindset exactly, for better or for worse. Whenever something good happens to me, I always think, okay, how do I capture this lightning in the bottle now?
Yeah.
Because I know that everything could go wrong, possibly. So, and I think that was instilled, you know, in me from my parents for sure. I think back again, like another girlfriend example, when I first got my first girlfriend, and I got in my first relationship, I was 15 years old, and it was
Let's
absolute
go.
pure puppy love, and you know, just goo goo gaga over each other. And instead of being like, you know, oh, that's so cute, da da da, my mom and dad sat me down. I'm like a week into this relationship, and they're like, just so you know, like this is not going to last forever. Like I don't want you to be heartbroken when it does end,
Yeah.
but this is puppy love, and you know you got to know that and have fun and be careful. And I remember being like, God damn, like that's. But I'm glad that that was instilled in me, because that always, I think, no matter whatever happened, no matter what good, whether it's followers or money or something is bestowed upon me, and I feel blessed, but I'm actually rarely ecstatic about it. I'm
Mm.
actually, if anything, I ebb more on the side of being
Caution.
nervous.
Nervous.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just like kind of, okay, like what do I do with this? You know, what do I do to make sure if everything goes wrong, if the world ends tomorrow, that I'll be okay? And I think it's you know, I think a lot of people don't like thinking of that because it takes the fun away.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's very important to zoom out, take a moment to pat yourself on the back and all those things. But I just tend to do that after I take a
Yeah.
minute to you know, plan accordingly, and just
Yeah.
you know, it's really just making sure you're looking out for yourself first. If everything were to go wrong, worst case
Yeah.
scenario, and you know, it's it's not something that they teach in school, put it that way. It's you see in the movies, like, oh, something good happens and everyone's like jumping up and down and
Oh
cheering,
my
but
God, I know, man.
you know, it's not how my brain works, for whatever reason. Again, for better or for worse, I try to I do try to put a positive spin on it and be like, okay, why does my brain work that way? And I
Yeah.
think it's to just honestly yeah, it's just best for planning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And that's interesting too that we have such similar uh or just like similarities, even though your parents were super, it sounds like ultra communicative in express themselves, expressing lessons to you. My parents were, they would, my dad would drop like big life bomb things every now and then, unwarranted and like untimely. But the communication side is where they struggled. Their parent, like my grandparents, were just not the best at communicating how they're feeling. And so we struggle in that department. So now it's easy to understand. They're able to communicate a little bit better. But growing up, the scarcity mindset came from is just like, uh, I think from that, like I didn't feel, I knew that they supported me, but I didn't feel it. They didn't like say it exactly. It was just kind of like an indirect thing. And so it is interesting that your parents were super communicative about that, would tell you how it is. And yet we both got to a certain point around the same age where we both kind of look at the world in a similar way, which is actually shocking to me because I figured that that would have like a bigger impact and we'd be in a totally different perspective. Because I see people who are instilled with confidence as a kid, like one of my best friends, Dalton. He motherfucker is confident as all can be, and I remember thinking he should not be when he was like in middle school. I was like, why is this kid so confident? And
Mhm.
I'm out here with like all the things he wants, and I feel like a little bitch. Like I don't
Mhm.
get it. Like why do I feel like a loser, and this kid feels like he's on top of the world when I feel like I have all the things it takes. And so that's why I think I really resonate with like your the drawings that you did, especially the book. Like I remember telling you at the event, like that book really rattled me. I wasn't I was not expecting it. I like
Mhm.
opened the book, and I know a lot of viewers have said it, like where your guard is down because of the characters in the book, and
Yeah.
that is literally what happened. I opened the book like just to see what was up, and within like 20 minutes, I'm sitting there like on my bed like this, like oh wow, what the fuck is going? Like flipping the next page. It
Yeah.
was really powerful, man. Those cartoons, they're real. They're real as fuck.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you know, when it came time to write that book, it was quarantine. It was like the thick months of COVID, like
Yeah.
March, April, May 2020. And I think like, yeah, a lot of that energy carried through. It's nice to hear that it had that effect on you. Like I do think people don't expect that book to be what it is. And you know, I hope people of all ages enjoy it. I definitely think there's something for people our age and, you know, 7-year-olds who could point and laugh at a talking potato.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. The connection went sour for a sec. See if he comes back. One second. Send him a message real quick. Hold on, fam. We got CoffeeMan Dan frozen. I'm gonna see if we can remedy this real quick. Might be a Wi-Fi thing. Can jump out and back. All right. Guys, if you have any questions for Dan, let me know in the chat. Right now, we're trying to figure out what happened here. Sometimes this happens on restream. I don't know if it's like a restream thing or if it's a connection thing on my end or his end. His network went to 0, so it's possible. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. He says I think he's going to jump back in a second. Let's see if hopefully that works. Hopefully that works. Let me make sure I'm set over here. Oh, all right. But yeah, this is fucking cool, dude. We got CoffeeMan Dan on the chat talking about life, talking about. Well, we'll get into some NFT stuff, but there he is. What's up, dude?
Dude, the Airbnb that I'm staying in literally just ran out of power, and
what? Are you serious?
But I got my phone, and as long as
okay.
you hear me, okay.
No, it's totally fine with me. That actually is totally fine. As long as your phone doesn't die or something, that would suck.
Yeah, good. Sorry about that, but
no worries.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked to hear stuff like that about the book. I mean, it's definitely very nice to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, man, the book. I mean, I compare it to Green Lights. It was just in the sense that like it just. I don't know. It like rattled me a little bit different. Like, there's not a lot of books I remember reading, to be honest. Like, I remember, like, oh, like I read that book, I think, but I don't remember anything from it. But it's like the feelings that it brings out in you. You know, it's the same when you watch someone that you really like. When you watch a podcast you love, you like the way that you feel when you're watching them. And it's kind of like when you date someone, you like the way that the type of person that comes out of you when you're with that person. And so I don't even know if that was like when you wrote that book, how groundbreaking were you trying to make it? Was it anything that you were trying to like change the world? Or were you just like, let me just write this book, let me just get it done? This is my first book. I don't even know what I'm doing yet, or what was it like?
I straight up was like with that mentality of, hey, what if this opportunity never comes around again? I'm like, if this is the only book that I'm going to be able to make, let me just go all out with it. And that's what I think I hopefully did. Like, I don't know if I'll ever make another one, but I wanted to, you know, give it my all on this one shot, you know, front to back, making a nice, pleasant experience for readers. And, you know, no matter what age you are, if you're walking down an aisle in Target or Barnes Noble and it catches your eye and you have no idea who I am or what my art is, or if you're a massive fan and have been for years and you get caught it because you saw it in on my Instagram or TikTok, I wanted it to appeal to everybody, just be like baseline, feel good, emotional, lesson learning, whatever. And you know, I think I did that. Like, I actually sat down a few weeks ago and I like read it, like, you know, which you forget to do, like, just, you know, you're so up in it, and like you wrote it and you rewrite it and you're catching all the edits, and then you like you reread it millions of times during like the production process of the book. But it's been like a year since like I actually like read it, if that makes like sense. And I just kind of like took a minute to do that, and I'm like, this is just a magic, beautiful experience. And I'm glad that I honestly had a chance to do that. The book medium is so different than digital, everything that I've ever done, YouTube, like editing, you know, uploading to the internet. It's just like the oldest medium of entertainment. So it was such a creative challenge, but again, like something that maybe I'll never do again in my life. And I wanted to just like give it my all.
Yeah. Also, I just noticed your fucking username, CoolMan Lost Power. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with the book. So there's a guy I follow. His name's Jesus Christ, Mike Malak, I think he is on YouTube. I remember he just had come onto a podcast. He like shared this super intense story, and then found he was pretty interesting and like entertaining on YouTube. And he wrote a book, I think a year or two ago. I think pretty much quarantine got us all off our asses to do something different. Like I don't think I was doing anything different before quarantine. I thought I was. I thought I had all these accolades, that I was so special. Then I was like, hold on a fucking second. I haven't done anything impressive that would get me onto a podcast with someone cool. And I think that's for you. Like you wrote the book in quarantine. That's kind of when you were, I guess like creativity was kind of like bundled up and you need to like expand. That for me was when I picked up the camera again. I said, okay, let's fucking go hard this time on YouTube. Like there's no second option here, back against the wall, let's go. But I was going to say with the book, he said on a podcast that when you write a book, you become like different a little bit. Like you get a different level of respect when you write a book. And I was just wondering what that process is like, because I'm going to write a book at some point. I've already started. That probably won't be out for a long time. But what is that process like? Is there like an editor? Like, are you able to have full free range with what you want to do? Or how does that whole process work?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like Penguin Publishers was willing to make with I was writing just about it. Then that's true. And then you had it from yourself, from the publishers, like you sort of mold it that way. And then reading takes like a damn minute. The illustrating and piecing as to where it actually went on the pages took longer than actually writing the stories.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like the actual like the physical printing of it and like the distributing of it. And again, like it's all just stuff that's totally different than anything I was ever used to. It was always just like working on things myself, uploading it on the internet, and then it's done. Like for most videos, the boom period is only 48 hours at best, and then people kind of forget unless it's like a snakes have legs type joint where it floats around forever. But the book is something, and this is my friend, my friend Adam JK, a very talented, multi-published author and artist that is based out of New York, friend of mine. When he found out, because he published multiple books with Penguin, when he found out I had my book coming up, he has a heart of gold. He FaceTimed me and he like just told me everything that I needed to know and like all the secrets and like which I'm very thankful for. But he said something which I didn't think about, which was, this book is going to be on shelves in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that, because I'm so used to uploading videos on the internet where that shit's kind of like, yeah, it's around forever, but it's like, I don't know, it doesn't have that same feeling of I will be, 35 years old, walking into a Barnes and Noble somewhere or a Target somewhere, and
sitting there,
book just sitting there, like that book that I made when I was 24. It's a wild way of thinking. So it's in that sense, it's so much more magical than any video. I think that book staring at me and introducing itself to people like years and years and years from now is quite cool.
When you read that book again for the first time after like a year posting it, I'm interested because I'll watch old podcasts that I've done, and the podcasts for me were really from like my soul. So when I watch them, I don't cringe. When I watch other videos where it's like a little bit of acting, like the skits and stuff like that, those hurt my soul a little bit. Those hurt me when I watch those. I'm like, Jesus. But there's a little bit of like nostalgia there. But when I listen to my podcast, even from a year and a half ago when I started, I'm like proud as fuck when I see it. I'm like, dude, fuck yeah, like you actually went, and it was like an intentional move toward what you wanted to do. And so I still like every now and then, like just like you, like a year in between, but I'll like rewatch a podcast and I'm like, hell yeah. Like what was going on through your like emotions when you read that book? Were you able to like read it as a viewer and as a reader, or kind of like as yourself?
That's what I think is the cool part about it, is when you don't read something that you made for a year, you're able to come back to it with fresh perspective, which is something that I wanted to do. And
Mhm.
um, I think there is that moment of like, oh wow, yeah, like I guess I wrote a fucking book. You know, like one of the first things that I made
Uh,
sure when I got the physical copies in my hand was I made sure to sign a version myself. And I know that sounds cringy, like and cocky or whatever, but I wrote myself a note in one of the books where I forget exactly what I said. I stored it away, but it said something along the lines of like, "You should be very proud of yourself. You wrote
hell
this
yeah.
book." Again, because with my brain, it's I always forget to just take that minute to appreciate something that I worked really hard on.
Yeah.
And that's what I wrote down. Like, take this moment to appreciate you wrote a fucking book. And like, I think it's important. Like when you spend so long working on something and you look back on it years from now, you want to have that feeling of like, yeah, like I did that shit. You want to be
Yeah.
proud. You don't want to look at it like, even if it hurts your soul a little bit. There's shit that I've done in the past where I'm like, all right, like that's kind of weird or whatever. But if like you want that feeling to be pride, and you want to be like, hell yeah, like I made,
Mhm.
which that's the feeling I got when I read the book for sure.
Yeah, dude. And that's great that you bring that up. I'm trying to find this fucking pull right here. It is. The idea of writing like a note to yourself. I'm big on manifesting. I'm not sure how big you are on like if you do that kind of thing, like manifesting, writing things, speaking your like dreams into existence, shit like that. But I'm a big believer in that, and I'm really glad I like document those moments. Like this is a photo from the very first night when I left my home and said, "Okay, I'm leaving. I'm gonna get in this car, this fucking Prius,
It's
parked on the
it,
side of a ravine."
it looks
Huh?
like a limited edition baseball card.
Dude, it is. It was taken on a Polaroid. Like I had this whole thing of Polaroids. I'm so glad I did it this way because they look old, they look vintage. Even though like I had a fucking iPhone, I could have taken it with or a camera. But this one was cool because like this is parked on the edge of a valley, and like with huge mountains and rivers at the bottom. But I had parked it at the middle of the night. Like there's a whole vlog where I document the first 24 hours, and it's fucking chaotic, dude. It was right when the Colonial Pipeline thing happened, so people ran out of gas, and I'm on the coast, and so there was no gas within like hundreds of miles, and I was like almost empty, and I was in the middle of nowhere. I like at this point like had a little bit of money, but like not really. And I remember panicking on video because I was like trying to make it an interesting video, but then partially like, yo, if I run out of gas, I'm stuck in fucking random ass Tennessee small
Yeah,
town, and I have like my phone's gonna die. Like I don't have anything. I was able to finally just like I ended up picking left, and I just drove, and I ended up finding a gas station. And in that video, I was one of the last people to get gas because as soon as I parked there, got my gas, about 200 cars rolled in, and they ran out within 30 minutes, and I'd have been totally screwed. But I have that photo, and I look back and when I wrote that, I took that photo, and I said, "This was fucking epic that I did this and I survived." And so that's powerful as fuck that you wrote that, dude. I'm big on manifesting.
dude, I no, I am too, man. I think it works, and I try to at least when I'm in the look staring at myself in the mirror while I'm brushing my teeth or whatever. I
Mhm.
always try to just think about what's going on in my life and identify what are the things that I want to happen. And yeah, like I think on some potentially hippie shit, like it always worked for me.
Yeah.
At least kept me focused and prioritizing as to what I wanted to happen at that point in my life. So I agree, dude. I think it works.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been big for me. I feel like I've always uh, daydreamed when I was growing up. Like I don't know what it's like for you, like just like up here, but for me, like I always was not living in the future. Now it's a little bit different because I like doing things like podcasting for example. Like there's something else I'd rather be doing right now. But back in the day, like even when I was playing soccer, which is my passion, all I could think about was playing somewhere on a bigger stage. And now like I don't really think that way as much. But I always kind of thought that way of like always looking at something else, looking into the future for something. But do you have that right now? Or like when you're at this point where I feel like if I fast forward a couple of years, I'll have a similar thing where I think in the next couple of years, my life will be a little bit different than it is right now. And I'm looking forward to that, but I'm not like, I don't have like a timer on it. But do you have things in the future that you're looking for that you're like, I want that very specific goal? Or have you kind of crushed most of those goals and now you're like, let me just keep going level after level?
Dude, a good question. And excuse my repositioning on the bed that I'm sitting on. Uh, uh, my leg was getting a little sore, but it's a good question because I think like I never have more than one clear goal in mind. And like when like I was like, I want to write a book one day, and I did that. You know, I want to get to 1 million followers on Instagram, and I did that. Like I don't have like every once in a while I'll put together a mood board or something, but things take so much time, man, to make happen. Where I think at this point in my career, I just am like going with the flow. Like I don't have any particular clear goal in mind because honestly, the past year has been so full of surprises. I couldn't have predicted any of that. I couldn't have set goals for any of that. You know, COOLMAN'S universe did what it did. I didn't know that was going to happen. I worked really hard on it. I'm glad that it did. But like
I'm glad it did, bro.
all the stuff and opportunities that came out of that with the events that are the scale of the events that are happening now and obviously new people appreciating my work like yourself. It's like very like trusting the process type of shit like that. I'm like, that worked. I'm gonna just focus on doing my shit, making sure I'm doing as good as I possibly can on it, focusing on myself, my health,
Yeah.
so that I can continue to be able to go so hard and come up with ideas creatively. But yeah, it's kind of weird to say that, but I think maybe for the first time in my career, I don't have like I want to do that just because I'm
Yeah.
so trusting of the process right now, and there's so much going on that I know that it's all going to accumulate to really work out for all the new opportunities that I'll want to tackle next year. You know?
Yeah. Do you think actually? Wow, that just like popped a weird question in my head. Do you think so? You know how when people say you get your first million and then you fucking fly, but that first grind to the million is the hardest part, or whatever that million mark is like for you, like first money or whatever. Does that first grind and then the reason you go from 1 million to 10 million so fast is that because the confidence, or do you think it's because the leverage that you're able to use with that first bag that you got, or is
I
it just a
think
mix?
to get to whatever that first million tier is for you, whether it's actually $1 million or whether it's getting to 1 million followers or whatever that thing is, I think that's working hard. I think that's putting in the fucking hours and just grinding and hustling. Like
Yeah.
hustle has kind of turned a little cringe as of late, but I was definitely that kid, dude. Like
Same.
2017, 16, I was like, wake up, like I'm gonna work like 14-hour long days, and I'm glad that then like, but it's also largely unsustainable. And I did that for like 4 years straight. I never took a vacation. I never took a break. I never, took weekends off. I still kind of don't, but I definitely like am much more conscious of taking breaks and
Sure.
of my work life, type shit because uh, when you hit that million mark, you go from 1 million to 10 million by not working harder, by working smarter. I truly
Mhm.
think. And all the pieces are there at that point, all the tools and all the people that I think you need to keep the thing that you're building growing. All that it truly takes at that point is to how do you make it work so seamlessly so that you're not like breaking your back trying to make the littlest things happening. You're actually able to live quite easy, focus on yourself because if I'm like busy like putting out like little fires left and right, I'm going to have no time to come up with my creative ideas, which is what made all this in with. That's where I think it continues to grow. Like I truly think it's working hard and then working smart. And you're always going to be working hard, but if you're like not figuring out those angles to make your life easier and keep the thing growing, then I think you're in a losing battle and you're going to lose your mind. And also you're sacrificing your happiness and comfort at that point.
Yeah, I agree, dude. And Andres, yeah, dude, it is a fucking cool crew neck, man. When I saw that photo shoot, bro, I was like, yeah, let me get some of that. Let me get some COOLMAN. But yeah, so what you said about I'm actually really ingesting. If I could fucking take notes and listen at the same time, I would. But this is why I'm not using any of my college degree stuff. I was never good at taking notes that I was able to remember up here. But I do think I'm near a pivotal point in my career where I will be able to start to scale a little bit and delegate. I think the word is because I'm taking literal notes here in my head. What exactly made your life easier? Because I'm just like you. I think I'm the creative engine. Even though I think for 22 years I didn't tell myself I was, I always have been. And now I'm like, okay, no, I am the creative. I'm the guy who does the video. I have the ideas. For me, it's the structure, it's the setting up stuff, it's the organization that I'm so terrible at. Like, what has made your life easier?
Yeah, I mean, I should mention before I even get too deep into that, like, there's going to be stuff that you want to be doing forever that maybe is menial, and like I still edit all my own videos, right? Like I'm
Oh, do
still
you really?
still typing out like subtitles for all my own because I feel like nobody else can do those
Exactly.
little, nuanced things other than myself because it is so like anal in particular. But there's always going to be what stuff like that you aren't willing to hand over to someone else. But the first moment where I truly got out of my own way and was able to delegate when I hired Emily, which is Emily in the Discord, and
What's up,
she's now
Emily?
my she's super badass, and she's only grown with how much a part of COOLMAN she is. She's just kind of started out. We found each other on Craigslist, and she just
Get the
started.
fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, no, Craigslist has hustlers,
Craigslist?
dude. I was finding work for myself off of Craigslist when I was shooting music videos. Like,
Oh, okay. All right.
there's talent on Craigslist for sure. Um, and I put out an ad where I was like, "Yo, I need help." Like
Mhm.
I was about to burn the fuck out. This is like
Yeah.
end of summer 2020. I was about to burn the fuck out. I was doing too much all by myself, one man show. And Emily reached out, and she started out as just being like freelance, helping me out, like animating stuff. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And she obviously very quickly grew to be like a family member of COOLMAN. And, she now has the producer role where she helps keep the whole show running.
Hell yeah.
But and I was talking with other, artists in the NFT space about this during South by Southwest. I'm like, yo, like, yes, it's important to make sure you're overseeing everything and making sure you're signing off on everything and making sure everything is looking exactly like the way you want it to look. But if you're not like scaling and getting out of your own way and letting others in to help you realize your vision, then you're just going to burn out. Like, and your stuff is going to suffer because of that. Like, you don't
Mm.
have Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland animating every episode of Rick and Morty. They have an animation studio. You don't have Martin Scorsese picking up the camera to, Goodfellas. Like, there's a team of talented people that you have to let into your life to help you. And
Mhm.
of course, trust each other. You're giving a part of you to them. Like, you have to trust them with to carry out your vision. You have to be able to communicate. Um, all those things that take time, and you have to find the right people. But if you don't get out of your own way and allow others to come in, then your stuff will never truly be what it can be. Think of Walt Disney, Jim
Yeah.
Henson. All those folks had powerful teams behind them to make them able to realize the dreams that they had
Mm.
and the ambitions they had. And it all starts, man, with getting out of your own way and posting a Craigslist. So
Shit.
I'm very glad I did that. That was the
That's
first moment. Like, okay, I would have burnt out if I.
damn, dude. Yeah, that sounds eerily similar. Not exactly, but I uh I am the same. Like I have certain things I don't want to let go of. I probably won't ever be able to. But mine wasn't Craigslist. Mine was an accidental TikTok live. I was on live. I was interviewing some person, and randomly this kid starts roasting me in the chat about everything. Like I'm sitting there, like I'm like drinking a Celsius. He's like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen." He's like, "What is on your hand?" Just like roasting me for like the most weird thing. I was like, so
Yeah.
what is this kid's problem? I was like, what the hell? I was like, what did I do to deserve this? So I went and followed him and like went to message him because I just wanted to see if he'd be like a hater or like what he would be like. I was like, yo, dude, what's up? And then he was like super cool. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I kind of forgot about it. A couple weeks later, I noticed him in my YouTube live, but totally different feel. He's like engaging in conversation, pushing discussion, asking questions. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Was he just trying to like get my attention or something? And then like a few weeks later, he's doing the same thing. He's like big in my Discord. He's in all my lives. And his name's Bryce. I think he's in here right now. And he's been crushing it. And I sort of like I don't have like a project like you do with COOLMAN, but I have like my own like Discord community. And I was like, well, look, there's not like a whole lot to do here, but like if you want to get into the Web3 space, which it looks like you want to, I have a little bit of a presence. I'm kind of getting started. Do you want to be like a community manager? Might be something you can put on your resume. And he was like, yeah, so you don't have to do anything. Just like everything you're doing is basically what a community manager does. It might be fun for you. You can put it on your resume. It can get you another job maybe. And so that's basically what happened. It was totally random like that. But he does, and I literally have told the story like a million times. It's just so funny. There he is. Yeah, he's in here right now. And now we're like super good friends. He's super like, it's fucking awesome, dude.
Dude, I mean, look, man, I'm no stranger to making real good connections and friends off the internet. Like I said, I was spending my weekend inside as or like in the YouTube comment section, like on Skype with my YouTube friends that like lived nowhere close to me.
Yeah.
And like it's powerful stuff. Like making connections like that is game changer shit. And you just gotta allow yourself to be, to put yourself in the position to do that, to make those friendships, to make those
Mhm.
connections. You know, Dave Dave Mouse in my Discord and on Twitter, he's been my friend in New York for years. We met in 2019 because he has his coffee roaster company, and I saw it on Instagram, and I reached out because I was just trying to get some free cold brew.
Yeah, of course.
And he hit me back instantly, and we hung out shortly after that, and we really vibed with each other. And then I did my first $0 event in May of 2019, where it was such a smash hit because all people like Dave, like these friends that I made along the way, came through to support me, and they just did it for free. He supplied a bunch of his coffee. He was pouring coffee at this
Let's
event.
go.
Was like, it's stuff like that, valuable relationships and connection, and those things are priceless. Like, you
Yeah.
have people that care about you and what you're building, and you trust them and they look out for you. That, I think people overlook that a lot, and you have a lot of sleaze bags out there who, use people, and like, don't like they just think that karma won't come back around, and it always does. Like,
Always.
I'm such a big believer in getting good people in my life, because those are people that are going to be around for the next 100 years when
Yeah.
you're the rest of your life, like, and you just trust them. Absolutely priceless.
Yeah, dude, 100,000%. And it's funny you brought up iced coffee, the cold brew, because that's what I was going to ask you. Because I know you got your iced coffee. I know you're a big fan of the iced coffee. And also, honestly, like, I feel like iced coffee became in the last few years. I don't know what sparked it. I don't know if it's TikTok or what, but I've always liked iced coffee. And it wasn't until certain people I watched became open about it that I was able to express my love for the iced coffee world. But and this ties into like the convenience factor of life. I would ask myself in the last few months because I'm like, okay, I'm at a close pivotal point. More money is going to start rolling in. I'm talking to sponsors and these other deals for more money, leveraging my channel. So what's going to change? And I was like, well, I'm probably going to buy an iced coffee a day or at least a few times a week because I want to be able to do that and not worry if I should do it or not. Like that's like one of my biggest things. I want to be able to go to Chipotle when I want, and I want to buy iced coffee whenever the fuck I want, and not have a scarcity mindset in my head of like, oh, it's $4, like it's $3.98.
Yeah.
Like should I go to this one or that one? Tell me how much, because I assume you haven't been buying $4 iced coffees for your entire life. I feel like that's like a luxury you get once you kind of don't need to worry as much about the bank number. How much has that kind of thing freed up space up here, and or have you even seen like a noticeable effect on things like that?
100%. You know, when I was living, you know, in 2017, when I made that Snakes Have Legs video, I considered going to the deli to get Philly cheesesteak for $4 to be a luxurious night out. Uh, like I was very
Oh my
frugal.
god.
Like, you know, I was not making a lot of money. Rent was $900 a month. You're living in Brooklyn with five other dudes. You know, only gonna get by being smart with your money. And here I was shooting music videos for like $200 a pop. So I was already in a failing position,
Yeah.
losing it. So I was very very frugal, and I was like, I don't need this hot dog right now. I just don't need this hot dog. Like that type of mindset. And it took me a few years to shake that. It wasn't until like even when I started making money, like I just couldn't shake that. I still don't like buying things for myself. Like I, you know, wear the same clothes every day practically, but it's changed in the sense where it's freedom. Money is
Yeah.
freedom. You're able to hire more folks to help you run the business. I tweeted a month or so ago that I had yet to pay myself at all. All the money generated from COOLMAN'S Universe was put back into COOLMAN'S Universe
Legend.
to scale and make sure that it's, you know, set up to be what I want it to be. Um, you know, I think it helps to think like that. You know, to put the baby that you've spent so much time growing. I mean, this is my life's work first. Um, but it is oxygen to also travel to see your family. It is oxygen to be able to cop an Airbnb that I'm in right now to enjoy the 4th of July before
Yeah.
before baby's mint. You
Oh
know,
yeah, that's happening 5 days, right?
yeah, very
Let's
soon.
go. Shit.
You know, it's oxygen to have a nice, fun night out with friends. You know, to get to yourself. You know, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Get a steak. You know, get some wine. It's those
Yeah.
little things that I think uh, keep you going in a sense because it's not like you're not buying a Lambo, you're not flying private jets. It's just the little things. It's getting that $4 iced cup of coffee, even though, you know, for some reason for me it's $6 or $7
Oh
maybe.
shit.
But it's exactly that. It's oxygen. It's keeping you going. It's that little less thing that, you know, that voice in your head of, ah, you shouldn't be getting this thingy, but it's like, all right, come on, man, like it's a nice
Yeah.
coffee. It
Yeah.
keeps you going, and it's those little luxuries.
Bro, where are you buying iced coffee for $7? Like, where is that?
Los Angeles.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. All right. I've done that a couple times, but it was like a luxury for me. I remember going in to like literally in LA when I was visiting, and I was like, wow, Jesus, that was a lot, but it was good. Like it does feel good. I mean, it tastes really good. I feel like it might be worth it.
I mean, oh wow, the electricity came back
Oh,
on.
you got it back on. Nice.
Awesome. Getting like so many wonderful moments in this. Uh, but you know, I think it's something to do with the oat milk I get. I think that's what
Mm,
wants it, you know.
yeah.
But
Yeah. 100%. Here, hold on. I'm gonna pop this one thing up. So this is a question I had for you. Not trying to roast you. What
yeah,
happened, bro? Where the fuck is episode 2? I left this comment yesterday. What happened to this, dude? You were amazing. This episode was fucking fantastic. I was super excited when I saw this. And then I was like, oh, what happened? He ended at 30 minutes exactly. Like this was like a sign.
I I'm you're very kind, man. I'm glad you like my stuff. Like the fact of the matter is there was like 20 extra episodes that I uploaded. Like I did that weekly, mostly throughout 2020. I think I got up to like episode, yeah, like 20 or so. And podcasting's hard, dude. Podcasting's really hard. Like I ended up unlisting those other videos. Just didn't really like them. I'm glad I did them. I invested some money into like my podcast setup at the time, and I just couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Like I felt like I'm glad I gave that a shot because now I definitely don't have the chops to be a podcast host. At least not right now. Maybe in the future. Maybe with a different show format. But god damn, is podcasting hard. That's why so much props and anybody else who does it. It's a damn grind.
It is, dude. I agree. I didn't know if I didn't know if with that podcast, like, is this something he's gonna do by himself or he's gonna do interviews? They're a totally different field, dude. Like when I first started that podcast, it was because I had all this fucking shit in my head that I just needed to get out. I just needed to like word vomit. I was like, I don't care where it goes, I don't care who sees it, but I might as well put this in video format because this is what I do. I like to edit anyway. I like to make highlight clips. And so, dude, I feel like probably those 20 podcasts that you did probably freed up a lot of space up here, you know?
Oh, dude, they were a vibe for sure, and I had some friends on there.
Nice.
Photographer friends from New York.
Oh shit! Airbnb killed him again. Let's see. Oh, there we go. You're good. You're good.
Oh, I think it just connected to the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Things turning back on, but I had some like homies on that podcast. I had musicians. Like it was fun. It was always a vibe to like, just have people in there and talk. But it's a grind, man. And I'm glad that I did it when I did it, because it occupied me and like I was able to like kind of dabble in the new craft.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So glad that I sort of ended that chapter when I did, because maybe COOLMAN'S universe wouldn't be around if I continued going hard with the podcast.
Yeah, 100%, dude. There's a lot of interesting things that could happen. Like when you literally pick something and you completely eradicate the other path that could have been if you just gone down that path. That to me is a weird little rabbit hole you could go down. It's like, okay, if I hadn't done that one thing that sparked all these other things, like when I think back, there's a video on my YouTube channel called like something along the lines of like I quit my jobs to travel the world or chase my dreams or something. And I remember in that video, I think this is something that came up in one of your bits of content out of the hundreds of videos you posted, something along the lines of like when you try something and it doesn't exactly feel like the answer, it doesn't feel like this is the way, I remember I quit my jobs and I was fucking terrified. On camera, you can see me like not shaking, but like basically shaking and be like, okay, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not going to this job interview. Like I was in the parking lot to go to this job interview and I was like, my camera's propped up on my dashboard. I'm like, you know what? Nah, dude, no, I'm not doing this. I just drove away, called my other boss, said I'm quitting, called my other boss, said I'm quitting. And I left that next week after I had got all my stuff together. And that day was so pivotal. And I remember getting home and saying, this will be either the biggest mistake in my life or the change of my life that needed to happen. But in that period was so fucking uncomfortable and so scary, way scarier than my life had been before, where you think about it and you're like, oh, I could do that. And then you end up not, kind of how you talked about the snake thing. You're like, oh, I have this video. I can make it tomorrow, but I'll probably forget. Let me just make it now. And like that one fucking decision changed your entire life. That's how I feel too.
Dude, that's incredible. I mean, props to, it takes that leap of faith, bro. And you did it. You did that. I think that's very admirable and you should be very proud of that. I've never done something as scary as that, dude. I had one job. I had one real job in my life. I was a stock boy at like this health food store in my hometown. I did it for 2 months and I was quivering when I had to call my boss to quit. That was for $8 an hour. So, that 3 times in one day with 3 different bosses, that's props, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Well, so I know it's July 4th, so I want to be respectful of your time and get you out there and doing some degenerate shit. But if you guys have any last questions here, drop them in the chat for me or Dan. This is one of my last questions, just to finish it a little bit on the COOLMAN. Says, I know, the babies are coming out in a few days. That's super exciting. That's going to be a fucking huge collection. For who don't know, I think it's 30,000 total with the COOLMAN, the babies, the anti-babies, right?
So it's the babies is a collection of 20K.
Okay.
way it works is there's going to be 10K free mints for every spesh holder. So if you have one spesh, that's one baby. If you have 10 species, that's 10 babies. So super hype there. And then what was announced at the New York City event was how it's going to be babies versus the anti-babies. So been doing some really hype art reveals of what the good babies look like and then what the anti babies look like. And the anti babies look very sort of radioactive and punk and kind of like spooky and scary. It's super dope. And it's sort of up to you to choose your destiny and which babies are you going to collect. Are you going to fight for good or fight for evil, anti, a little bit of both? What are you vibing with? And, you know, there's never been anything done like this before, collection wise, because there's so many different body type characters that all the attributes have custom drawn to. The squid is a very different body type, like the alien baby is a very different body type than a pterodactyl baby, or ghost, vampire. There's all these different sorts of babies. So it's going to be really cool to see what people are collecting, and then also like what you're vibing with, personally from an art perspective. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, and the Twitter and Discord and everything has just been blowing the fuck
Yeah.
up.
What the fuck, dude? They blow it. Dude. I was the first. I was in the first, either the first 1,000 or the first 1,500 people to find the other smaller accounts. And I was like, wait a second, this dude's building like a kingdom here, not the
Yeah.
Joyage kingdom, but he's building the Cool Man kingdom right now.
Well,
And Andre Andre says, what do you think the next steps are? I think he's focusing on this step, but I imagine it's just to continue building this.
well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it is it's world building, which is exactly what needs to happen. Like it's introducing more characters, and we have the huge mega big announcement happening in just 2 days on July 6th, which is
Oh
going to
shit.
the whole it's going to change the universe. But I think yeah, it's introducing more characters and sort of building on the lore and the story is what truly makes the universe enjoyable to be a part of, and gets you to care about it and want to be a part of it forever. So that's exactly what's being done with babies. Is it's expanding the universe, expanding on the lore, building the worlds, and it's everything I ever wanted to do as a creator. So I'm really excited on it.
That's dope because when I'm not sure how long you've been in NFTs, but I've been here since last summer, and kind of like the first few waves of like not side projects, what are they called, like companion projects. And before there was no reason other than just because. But this is a bit different. The characters have meaning because they're part of the universe, and there's already an actual story established. There's a brand already there. The babies are necessary versus like for example, Space Punks had these space dinos. Where the fuck did those fit in? Like they have done absolutely nothing. They don't have any clue what they're gonna do when they dropped it. It was just like you get this airdrop, you're like, okay, cool, and then like nothing happens from it. But the babies are baked into the storyline, which is gonna be really interesting to see how that works out. How much? This would be my last question. How much does the story of Cool Man and your brand depend on like it feeling like it was made by you, edited by you? Like, is there a way where Cool Man goes absolutely mainstream, like bought by a huge like Sony or something like that, and then they bring in all these animators and directors and stuff like? Does that change the thing? Is that what keeps Cool Man versus other brands, or like what do you think it is?
I mean, Cool Man will forever be uh, based on exactly what I want Cool Man to be. I am Cool Man at the end of the day. So, you know, regardless of how big, things scale and what happens in the future, I think in the same vein of a Walt Disney or a Jim Henson, folks that I really look up to, for all the reasons that I suppose others look up to them. They are folks that birthed, iconic characters that made so many millions of people, young and old, feel good for generations, and they're gone now. Both Jim Henson and Walt Disney are long gone, and their
Yeah,
characters live on, which is what I'm trying to do with my characters, with Spesh, with the babies. Uh, you know, even though they became what they became, uh, organization wise, company wise, brand wise, whatever you want to call it, it's still always kept, um, the core of what the creators set out to do initially, and that's what I want to do. It's Spesh is out here to remind as many people as he possibly can that they're special. That'll never change. Those core messages will never change. It's about mental health. It's about bringing people smiles, making people laugh, getting a little goofy. Spesh 2 dots for nipples. It'll always, no matter how big it scales, and it will scale. It will get larger. So the goal is to make Spesh the household name that I've always thought it deserved to be. But as far as things changing or the message getting lost, will never happen.
Nice, dude. That's fucking awesome. That's legendary. And guys, thank you so much for being here. I know some of you guys were in here since the beginning. And if you made it to the very end of this podcast, code word is Coffee Dan. I want to see Coffee Dan spammed in the chat. If this is not your first episode with us, if this is the episode something of the Joyage Kingdom, I want to see OG spammed in the chats. We appreciate us being in here. If you haven't clicked the like button, smash the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Follow CoffeeMan Dan, COOLMAN. I think all their stuff's in the description. You can find all their stuff there. Dan, dude, it's been a fucking pleasure talking to you, and it's just great. It's just really good hanging with you, man.
Dude, appreciate you having me on. And, like I said, you are very talented, dude. You're very proud. And I came up to you at my event, for the reasons that I told you that I did. You are very confident. You're very charismatic. And I recognized you and all the content that you put out there. I said about me. So thank you, dude. And can't wait to see what you do next.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And also, for anyone who's listening, if there's any artists in the chat right now, I'm gonna wait. Actually, let me pull this up just so you guys can see it real quick. This is my COOLMAN. If it's number 2493, this is the one in my leisure, my forever Spesh. If anyone does any kind of artwork with him and wants to post on Twitter, just shoot me a tag me on Twitter so I can see it. But this is my forever Spesh. So if you guys do anything art wise on this guy, I would love to see it. I know there's probably some artists in here. So thank you all for being here. Let me close this out. There we go. Until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn, and we're grateful you're live watching this video. Bye.
Peace.
3